I want to share an interaction I had a couple weeks ago. So it was a Thursday. The time was about 8:45 a.m. I was in a coffee shop downtown, waiting for a coffee, as one does. And the lady at the counter said the cappuccino was ready. So I was listening to Steely Dan too loudly in my headphones, and the lady said there was almond milk in the cup of coffee. Now, something you should know about me is I have a deadly peanut allergy. So I went for the cup of coffee, and this guy swooped in and said, "Oh, this is my cup of coffee." And I explained, "Oh my God, I could have died. I have a peanut allergy." To which he said, "Oh, well, then you wouldn't have had to go to work." I smiled and chuckled, as any good Selwyn lad would, but that statement haunted me for the rest of my day. This man was saying that death from a peanut allergy was better than going to work and doing my job. How did we get here? What did death from almond milk become better than a 9 to 5? I don't think it is, and I don't want you guys to think it is either. I think it's become popular in our culture to not like your job. I think a lot of people say you should work to live, but I think living to work is equally as important. So I wanted to come here today and talk to you guys and encourage you to play to your strengths and not get tied down to some job you don't like this loser at the coffee shop. But why trust the kid with the Johnny Trust hair standing in front of him? I don't want to come here today and tell you I know everything, but I just want to share my perspective on life after Selwyn and all the mysteries it holds. We can start with that my name is Dylan, and I work in the movies. I love movies at Selwyn. I went to go explore movies after Selwyn through school and my career. But most importantly, I'm a Selwyn Bulger, with a class of 2017. Because not so long ago, that is just like it. I broke Gret in Corstein Hall. I rocked my Spears tie. I got to play a pirate in Treasure Island because of Miss Martin. I got to run the Terry Foxman like a champ. But then one day, these teachers, these administrators, have the audacity to tell you it's time to go. That's right. In the true spirit of Beyond the Obvious, Uncle Dill here has a tip for you. You will not be here for the rest of your lives. I've already tried renting out the Mac basement, and Mr. Downey asks for too much rent, and it's just not possible. So what do you do when you leave this place? Yes, you go to CJET, boarding school, grade 12. But what do you actually do when you leave this place? A lot of people told me, and will tell you, yeah, you go to school again, maybe go to school again, and then get a job, maybe get a promotion, maybe have a family and start playing bridge. That's about it. But what does that mean? So you A, school, B, job, C, live your life. But it is not that simple. I don't want to give you the heebie-jeebies because you're all strong and capable and you're going to figure it out. But it is not that simple to find a job you like, let alone find a job you like. I want to take you guys step by step through my experience, and maybe, just maybe, you can learn a thing or two. So here's the first thing I want to ask you guys. What do you want to do? What do you actually want to do? Not what you think you should do, not what your friends or family, are telling you to do, or not what maybe culture is telling you to do, but what do you actually want to do? Because if you have a passion for something, it is a disservice to yourself and that industry to not follow it, because you have all the more impact doing something you like. I've always loved movies, and I've been lucky enough to follow the movies after school through additional schooling and my career. And I want to highlight that word luck. It is so lucky that we have the opportunity to explore what we want to do. It is a privilege to explore your advantage. It is a privilege to explore what you want to do, so you should take advantage of it. I encourage you guys to explore, to push yourselves, to challenge yourself to figure out what that thing is that you want to do. Do you think your teachers show up every day to make some coin and get tormented by hordes of teenage boys? No! They show up here because they care about what they do. They care about you guys and good education. You should want to work, and you should be passionate about what you do. So if you like watching ball, or if you want to figure out how the rent is built, or if you want to figure out the market, if there's an injustice in the world you want to figure out, or if a teacher inspired you, you should follow that spark because you might be the one to figure it out. So I just said I work with the movies, but the movies are big. And this is the second thing I want to talk to you guys about today. Finding your lane and knowing when to fold. So wherever you work, it's going to be a law firm, a construction company, a school, a sports network, the entertainment industry. They're called this for a reason. They are big. Within these industries, there are so many moving parts. And you got to find that lane, that corner, or that ridge where you can flex what you're really good at. It's kind of like looking at a giant photo of a highway. But then you got to zoom in and find that lane that's going to suit you to get you where you got to be the most. Sure, you want to do law, but what kind of law do you want to do? What do you want to build? What do you want to market? Where in finance can you truly excel? In my experience, I've always loved movies. But sure, here's the Denzel Washingtons and the Steven Spielbergs, but the well runs so deep on this industry. There are production designers, the stunt team, the editors, the people who market these things. I can go on and on. I did acting at my time at Selwyn, but I thought it didn't spark me enough to follow it full time. So in university, I thought sound would be my ticket into the biz. I could be the guy holding the microphone, or I could learn the sound editing program and have an invaluable skill. But what I found out was holding the microphone was really boring. And learning the sound program was hard for my brain. And that's okay. I think you also have to learn when to fold. I don't want to frame that in a negative light, and I don't think it should be seen as losing a fight. But I think you got to learn when to pack it up and go on to the next thing. Because you should be excited to do what you want to do, and you should be psyched to do it every single day. If you start a job and you have to ask yourself, can I be doing this for the next couple weeks, months, maybe the rest of my life? If the answer is no, then say adios. Because if you're going to be somewhere 40 hours a week, you should love it. You should want to be there every single day. So after I gave up sound, I started to write skits and TV pilots, and that was my jam. I loved writing funny characters or creating worlds. But then I did this thing where I graduated university, and I was 23 years old. So how was a 23-year-old going to make money selling the scripts? I was not going to do that. So I pivoted. I reached out to a Montreal connection I had, and I luckily got an interview to be a producer's assistant on an Apple TV show. And this show changed my life. We got to film at Calvary and the woods in the middle of nowhere, and it was such an experience, and it was such a great learning experience too. But I pivoted from acting to sound to trying to write, still trying to write, then working on a film set, and I'm still pivoting. That film set obviously ran out, and now I'm working on the business side of film. It's been so great to learn a whole other thing, because learning is so important in what you do too. You're not going to know everything when you start it, and that's okay. You got to learn what you like, what you don't like, what you're good and what you're not good at. So how do you make that jump from going from having role-specific experience to you're doing different jobs? I think the important thing to remember is not to be scared to ask for help or advice. The reality is everybody was once like you guys trying to figure out what they wanted to do. Everyone was young and hungry, and odds are they want to help you excel. And when you work at a company, you're going to meet so many different people in different departments as a team. You cannot be afraid to ask for help or ask for advice to make that switch. And when you do get that interview for that job, wherever that is at a different team, I think the main thing you want to say is why you want to work here, other than you like the company, is you want to learn. Learning is so important in all this. So my experience when I was working from movie sets and going to an office, which is what I currently do on the business side, they said, why do you want to do this? Well, I learned this on this set, and now I want to apply these skills, and I want to learn this whole different side of the industry. The last big thing I want to say is that connection I had that I said gave me this life-changing job. The only reason I got that job is because I reached out to my little brother's best friend's mom. Your network is so important, and you never know whose information on anything. It's so important you can be the extra push or connection or information you need to do what you want to do in your career. I'm telling you guys, people do not use it enough. You have to talk to every old boy you can, and I did, and I learned something else from every single one of them. So you should soak it all in. Sure, a lot of people won't answer you, but the one that does could change your life. And this is what I really want to leave you with. I know Selwyn alum who are doing things I never would have imagined in high school. I know kids who are recycling wind turbines for 3D printing. I know kids who are melting down vinyls and turning it into coffee table trays. There are kids playing the blues in Texas and doing private equity in London. There are kids starting their own landscaping companies and starting their own mental health awareness companies. There is so much out there, and these kids, I never thought they would do it during their time at Selwyn House. I encourage you guys to go explore what you're passionate about. Find out what you like and don't like, because once you find it, you will have all the more impact. Thank you guys.